Well, hey guys, how are you? Welcome back. I am Summer with Summer Sweet Shop, and I'm so excited that you are here because today we're talking about something that I can relate to all the time, and that is overwhelm and stress. And I want to tell you about 3 things that I did in my cookie business that really changed the game for me. These are things that I stopped doing when I was trying to scramble to get orders out the door. And I want to ask you, are you still having late nights, decorating till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, decorating all the time? Because what happened was I was working from order to order to order. And a few years ago, I found myself in a total cookie chaos spiral. It was right around May when I had teacher appreciation cookies, I had Mother's Day cookies, and these are 2 of the busiest seasons of the year for me, and especially for my cookie business. And I had already booked out all of my pre-orders, so I put my Mother's Day cookies on pre-order. I had all of my teacher appreciation cookies on pre-order. And what happened was I started to get a few of those texts that were, pretty please, can you just take my order? I just have like a few cookies that I need. You know the ones that I'm talking about that you get. And I thought, probably foolishly, well, what's a few more dozen cookies, right? What's a few more to add to the mix? Well, what happened was later on that week, towards the end of the week, when I was going to have pickups on Friday, by Thursday, I was just surrounded by chaos. I had cookies everywhere. I had lots of cookies that I had not packaged yet because I had not gotten to them. I had details that still needed to be finished on cookies. I definitely had not taken a single photo of these cookies that I had finished, and I was exhausted. I was stressed out to the max. I was biting everyone's head off in my house, or anyone that even came by, even like the delivery guy. And the worst part of it was when I looked at my numbers after that launch was over from all of those pre-orders, I barely made a profit. And I just thought, listen, this is not how I want to work. This is not why I went into business. This is not why I wanted to start selling my cookies, to be exhausted, to be stressed out. That was absolutely the opposite of what I wanted to happen. So I knew that something had to change, and I knew that like I couldn't sustain that. I didn't want to be in this like chaotic scramble all the time, just trying to get orders out the door, right? So I want to talk today about 3 things that I stopped doing in my cookie business. Number 1 is I stopped saying yes to everything. Yes, I am a recovering people pleaser. Definitely not a perfectionist. I am a people pleaser. I hate telling people no. When I had friends that wanted me to make cookies for them and I already had a full schedule, I would say yes. If I had made cookies for someone who I've been making cookies for years and they just got their request to me late, I would say yes. And when I was starting out, I was wanting every order that I could get, right? I was wanting to sell my cookies. I thought, this is great. I'm going to be able to establish myself in my community. And so I was saying yes to all of the requests. Yes, I'll take this. Yes, I'll take that. Yes, I'll take that like corporate order, whatever it was. Because I didn't want to cause my business to stumble. I wanted it to grow. I wanted to nourish it. And so I felt like I had to say yes to all of it. And especially for loyal customers that would come back to me over and over again. But what happened, and the truth is that every yes means I was saying no to something else. Maybe that was saying no to sleep that I needed to get. Maybe that was saying no to going out with girlfriends on a night because I was having to make cookies. Maybe that was family time that I was missing out because I was working on cookies, packaging cookies, all of the things. And when I learn to set boundaries in my business and say, hey, I am not going to take every order that comes across my email. I'm not going to take every single one that someone asks me about. It made a huge change in my business and really a huge change in me because I was able to protect what I valued and what I knew was important. And that was my family time was important, my sanity was important, my sleep was important, and I still wanted to serve my customers, but I had to set those boundaries. I had to say, Summer, you have to look at this and make sure that you are not just booking everything out, that you are reserving time for the things that are the most important to you. And the thing is, what happened after I did that was my customers respected me more for doing that. They appreciated it. They were so grateful for those boundaries that I set to say, hey, you know what? You got that order in a little late. I'm not going to be able to do it. And then next time they were able to get in that order early. They sent it in months in advance, right? They respected those boundaries that I set. You got to have a clear cutoff date and know, hey, I'm only taking 13 dozen cookies this week. Or hey, I'm only going to take this many pre-orders for that holiday. You have to set that boundary and you have to stick to it. That's my number one tip. Okay, the next thing that I stopped doing in my business was I stopped prepping everything last minute. Guys, this one can be a really, really hard one for me because I can get caught up into I want to do all the things. I want to do all the things like yesterday, but I had to stop doing that and I had to start prepping ahead of time. That means I had to get really organized. I had to plan a lot and I had to do a lot of strategy. So when you are looking at that with your decorating, it can be super stressful because there's a lot of pieces that you have to plan out and you have to figure out before you even hit go, right? And some of those big changers for me was really like batching my work. So I looked at my dough. How was I prepping my dough that I needed to make, the cookies that I needed to decorate for that week? I started prepping those cookies on one day a week and not doing them multiple days during the week. I did it one day during the week and I knew, okay, these are the cookies that I'm decorating this week. We're gonna make them all at one time. What about my royal icing? Prepping my royal icing. I wanted to prep the amount of royal icing that I was gonna need and I would color and sort everything at one time. I didn't want to just make a color and then decorate, make a color and then decorate, right? It helped me so much to have it more organized that I knew, okay, today is I'm making icing and I'm coloring my icing. That also allows your icing color to develop, which is going to give you richer colors with your gel colors. Also, packaging. Oh my goodness, packaging is one of those things that can sneak up on you really fast and you don't realize how much of a time commitment packaging can be. So I started packaging and started prepping my packaging ahead of time. This was something I could do if I've got Halloween orders that I knew were going to come in and then like 2 months later, I could prep that packaging way ahead of time. I could print out my tags and have them already cut. I could have my bows already ordered. I could have my boxes already assembled so that they are ready to go. Again, I wasn't doing that last minute prep that was stressing me out. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to prep as much as I could ahead of time so that I wasn't stressed out and overwhelmed when it came time for those orders to get fulfilled. So batching your task, and not only is going to make that production smoother, it's going to leave you with space for creativity and efficiency. One of my favorite words is you want to be efficient. You don't want to, because what happens is when you get chaotic and you're just like cramming everything in and you're like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do this. What happens is you start juggling balls and you drop a ball. you miss a order, you miscount your cookies because you're like, I'm just trying to get this done. I'm supposed to have 12 dozen cookies. And guess what happens? You get to the decorating and you're like 2 cookies short. Anybody else ever done that? I've done that so many times. It's so frustrating. Don't do that. Don't do that. So you got to treat your orders, you're going to treat your cookie orders almost like a production line. So you're going to divide up your week, divide up your days. So say you have 4 days to do these cookies, or maybe 3, whatever it is. You're going to divide it up and figure out how you can batch at certain times. You're going to make your cookies on this day. You're going to do your icing and coloring on this day. You're going to do your photos and packaging on this day. It's going to make it so less overwhelming for you. You're going to have this sense of clarity. And you know what else? You're probably going to be able to have a higher capacity of how many cookie orders you can get out the door because you're so much more efficient. Okay, the third thing that I stopped doing was I stopped undercharging for my cookies. If you are staying up late, if you are sacrificing your weekends, if you are still not seeing profits in your business, if you're still having to turn people away because you cannot take on any more orders, then you are undercharging for your cookies. Cheap orders are draining. They are not worth it. And I promise you, any cookier that is undercharging for their cookies will not be doing it very long. They're either going to raise their prices or they're going to be like, I'm out, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. This is not for me, because cookies are expensive, right? Like, you're in this for the long run. And if you are spending more time and more energy and your ingredients than you are being compensated for, listen, you are going to burn out. You're going to be like, this is not for me. And I want you to know that you don't have to be like that. You don't have to say, hey, this is not going to work. People in my area just aren't going to pay this. You just have to find the right customers. So when you are pricing accordingly, you're going to be paid accurately for your time and for your skill. You will be able to afford to say no. Again, those no word is a full sentence. You're going to be able to say no to any last minute orders or any of those orders that are not ideal, like character cookies. No, thank you. I don't want to do that. It's not worth my time. It's not worth my frustration and my sanity. No, thank you. And that was so much freedom in that I could just stop saying yes to those. It kind of goes back to that, not saying yes to everything. And when you start pricing accordingly, you're going to be able to build a sustainable business, a profitable business, one that you're going to want to do for a long time, and you're not going to have that burnout. You're not going to have that frustration there. You've got, the number one thing about pricing cookies is you've got to calculate your costs, especially with your time. So when you're looking at the cost for your cookies, obviously look at your ingredient costs, look at your supply costs, but also look at your time. How much time are you spending? So how much time are you really making per hour when it comes to your decorated cookies? Then you can figure out how to price them accordingly. So I know that this can be super hard to shift from saying yes to everything to running your business like with no boundaries, because more than likely you're probably like me, where I didn't have any boundaries in the beginning. I was never been a business owner before. I didn't know how to run a business. And I thought, well, this is just how it is. Like, you just say yes because you want it to be successful. You want to be profitable. And I thought, well, that's how you do that, is you say yes to all the things. And turns out that is a lie, not the truth. And so I don't want you to fall into that same trap of, I've got to say yes to everything. Your business is supposed to work for you, not the other way around, right? So if you are scrambling to get those orders out every single week, I want you to take a breath. I want you to set your intentions, and I want you to set your boundaries. And I want you to prep ahead of time, batch your content, write out a production plan, And I want you to make sure that you are charging what you are worth. Charge what your skill is worth. Charge what your cookies are worth. And the thing is, your future cookie business owner self is going to thank you so much for doing that. It's going to set you up for success, and you're going to do amazing. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what one of these things, these 3 things that I stopped doing, which one of these are you guilty of and you're going to have to stop doing in your business as well. Put it in the comments below. I can't wait to see you. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye, guys.